Alright, so today we're going to download and install Windows 10 onto a virtual machine using VMware Workstation. First thing we need to do, though, is download Windows 10 from the Microsoft website, which you can do by going here and downloading the Windows 10 creation tool. This will allow you to actually create a disk image of Windows 10. These loading screens usually take a while, so I'm going to cut forward whenever it's loading. Once it's ready, you want to click Create Installation Media, which you can put on a flash drive, disk, or just have a symbol file. User recommended. Instead of a USB flash drive, we're going to use an ISO file, so we can actually load it into VMware. I already have one, but I'm going to overwrite this. And now it's going to start downloading Windows 10. And now the Windows 10 download is finished. And we should have the ISO in our storage right here. And now that we have this, we can install it onto our virtual machine. So now that we've finished downloading the Windows 10 disk image file, we can actually start to install Windows 10 on a virtual machine. To do this, first you'll have to create a new virtual machine and choose your installer disk. It can't detect which operating system, so install later, and this is when we choose it here. We'll just call it Windows 10 64, and we'll save it to this drive. I'm just going to leave this at 60 and store it at, say, single file. For hardware, I'm going to give this at least 4 gigabytes of RAM, and we'll give it 2 cores. Also, instead of auto detect, you want to use the image file itself, otherwise it won't boot up. So we'll go back and choose that manually and close and finish. And now our virtual machine should be up and running, and we should be able to install Windows 10 on it. You want to hit Control-G to be able to use your keyboard here, and now we have the Windows 10 loading screen. And here we start the setup for Windows 10. This is where you'd put a product key. I don't have an extra one, so I'm going to click I don't have one. And you can always put one in later. Or using Windows 10 Home here. Go ahead and scroll through here, set license terms. And here we're going to install Windows only onto this drive that we selected earlier. And now it starts to actually install Windows into that small folder we chose. After finishing up, it's going to restart itself. So after it restarts a few times, as a Windows installation usually does, we should be able to actually start putting in our basic privacy settings, languages, and everything else, which you can choose to do whatever, so I'm going to skip forward through this. Now that we've done all the initial setup, it'll start to finish up its own setup, and we should be able to use it shortly. And there we have it. Windows 10 is installed. It works pretty much just like a normal desktop computer, except it's virtualized, so you can do everything you need from within a machine. Machine within a machine. Well, that's how you install Windows 10 onto a virtual machine.